Welcome everyone. Please rename your alias to get e-certificate. And before we welcome other great speakers, let's welcome and invite to the stage Engineer Umar Farouk Gul, who is the president of YIC International Conclave.
So hi everyone, thank you so much all of you for joining and for your registrations. So myself, Engineer Umar Farouk Gul, I am the president of Youth International Conclave. We started this journey back in 2019 for the purpose to connect youth from all over the world. So currently, I'm glad to say that currently within the journey of 2 years, we have expanded the network of Youth International Conclave to 31 countries. And the audience you can see here currently, I'm glad to announce that for this specific summit, we have received registrations for more than 50 countries. So thank you so much. We really appreciate your interest to join this summit. We already done the same summit in person just few days before at our country, Pakistan. And there were more than 500 participants physically. I hope you have visited our social media pages to see the work we have done physically here. This summit was also planned to be happen on the same time, but due to some technical issues, unfortunately, we were not able to make it online on the same time. So that's why we decided to announce and to organize a specific mega summit after the physical one. So here we are finally. I would like to thanks to our mega partners. I will start from the B owner, Engineer Shahab Khan, who is the speaker as well. I really appreciate his support to make this summit very successful. I would like to thanks to Aruba Innovations, CLLB, Engineer Rizwan Saib, Bahria University, and also other universities and partners who have done this and who have done a lot of work with us to make this summit and to make it happen and to make it and to bring this summit to the next level. As you can see, the hard work, finally we have more than 440 people at this a single room. So I don't want to take much of your time. Thank you so much again for joining us, and I will be here till the end of the summit, and a lot of best activities are coming, so please be seated and enjoy this summit. Thank you so much.
Now I am happy to announce the next panel discussion. The topic of this discussion is bridging the gap between academia and industry. Let me proudly invite Ikra Awais Malik. She's Director HR at Gateway Hub.
Walaikum assalam. Yes, so we are joined by Engineer Saeed Rizwan Ali, who is a great teacher to me as well. We have been at the same university, and sir, I guess you do not need much of an introduction, but still I would like to mention that he is at Bahria University, Karachi campus right now, serving as Manager, Business Incubation Center. And definitely he would have a lot to share with us when talking about how and why there should be a bridge that needs to, basically cover up all the things when a student is graduating from the university until the student reaches out in the market. What are the things that the student needs to carry with him or her, and what are the skill sets that the students need to carry with them? So over to you.
Assalamu alaikum to all, and hi to all as well. As you have already, she's just mentioned that my name is Engineer Saeed Ali, working as an assistant professor and manager of business incubation center, Bahria University, Karachi campus. And we are here to bridge between the academia and industry, and we are trying to give the mindset to the students, because it's a very hard nurse to crack that you need to convert the university student to become an entrepreneur. It's a very hard thing. So what we are working here on the mindset that we are working to, if the students come up with the idea, we are trying to turn those ideas into business. And also we do have a co-working space. We have an accelerated program in that. So we are trying to do so many things, and let's see how it goes. So thank you.
So next, let's move to Miss Aruba Gilani. Miss Aruba is also working at a university in Pakistan. It's NUST University, and she is looking after the placements. the placement department. So yes, Ms. Aruba Gilani, I would like you to add something to it. As being a part of, the placement department at a very prestigious university in Pakistan, what do you think? What are the things that the students who are graduating are lacking, which, do not really help them when they step out in the market? They are maximum students are basically unemployable when they step out in the market. Why is that so? Miss Aruba Gilani, can you hear me? All right, let's pass this similar question to our next speaker, Mohammad Asif Iqbal.
First of all, I really thankful to the organizing team and especially Umar for having me here today. So you are doing fantastic, and the whole team, there are a lot of people have joined from different countries. So I'm Asif Iqbal. I'm doing many more things on entrepreneurship ecosystem in Bangladesh. Like as you mentioned, I'm teaching here in the university, largest private university. You can see my back in the virtual background here. So in Bangladesh, I am running only the department we have called Innovation Entrepreneurship. This is the only department in the whole country we have. So I'm trying to create entrepreneurs and also trying to support entrepreneurs as I run working spaces, incubation, one of the largest incubation program, one of the largest accelerator program I run. So there are a lot of support system I am building for supporting entrepreneurs and also trying to create a sustainable entrepreneurship ecosystem in Bangladesh through various activities. So your question was that, why the people are unemployed. So for my understanding, as I work as an academician and also work in the industry closely. So for my understanding, the first thing is the mindset. Mindset is the biggest problem I have found. That is, every students, like as you mentioned, Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, all are very close together. So I have found everywhere the same problem is the mindset is the biggest problem, because every of the students who started their university on the undergrad, especially the undergraduation level, so they have that mindset of doing job for others. They never thought of like doing something by themselves. So becoming I mentioned that is job seeker to job creator is one of the biggest skill I think in this era of 21st century students should know. Like they should have that mindset of creating jobs rather than the seeking jobs. So one of these is the mindset, and there are a lot of problems like these skills, specific skills. As I work with a lot of industry people in Bangladesh and India, especially, maybe in the coming days I work with Pakistani people as well. So, but every time I have heard that the job hunter actually do not get the skilled graduate, and I'm talking to the students, they are telling me that I'm not getting the job. So there is a gap there. So the job seeker, the employers actually asked for the skilled graduate. So you should have to have the proper skills to be fit for any job. So that is one of the things. And there are a lot of things like industry academia gap is also there for the for all the whole subcontinents is there. Maybe in the coming questions, you will ask me and also the other panelists. I'm looking forward to know more from the other panelists as well. So these are the things I think you should focus on as in students.
Next, I would like to talk to Ma'am Shamim Rajani. She is an entrepreneur from Karachi, Pakistan, a businesswoman, and she is also a co-founder at Genetic Solutions. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I hope I'm audible. Yes, I'm doing
yes,
well.
You are. Yes, you are.
Happy to see around a huge participation. So excited.
Yes, sure we are. So ma'am, my question to you is that what do you think, as Mr. Asif also mentioned, and today, these days we are talking a lot about entrepreneurship and all, and how there are less job opportunities outside and students must, do something for themselves. And instead of asking for jobs, they should be the ones creating job opportunities. So what would you like to say about the entrepreneurship and the entrepreneurial culture that is in the universities, or maybe you think that is not there? So I would like you to comment on that.
So I want to sort of like, I understand where Asif is coming from, and I love the idea about, creating jobs rather than looking for jobs yourself. So that's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is, when you are an entrepreneur, you are a business person running a business, and you're looking at universities to produce fresh graduates, something that, so skill development is something that universities or academia should be doing. And the job of the entrepreneur ecosystem or the business community is to consume that skill set, right? But there's a huge gap there, and that's where we're all burning, and we're all sort of like getting burnt out. I think one of the reasons that there is unemployment out there, and that I feel that there's a gap in between why we are not able to absorb a university graduate, whether it's a startup or whether it's a conventional business. There's quite a few. One, obviously, Asif already mentioned. The other, I feel, is again, Asif slightly touched on that, is the huge industry academia gap. So one of the reasons is that the knowledge imparted in universities is not sufficient for the competitive job market out there. So that is a huge gap that needs to be understood, and that's not something that we can shove under the carpet anymore, not any longer. So I'm going to be very specific and talk with regard to the IT industry, and with the huge demand coming from first world countries, and we need to be very, very vigilant and on top of our feet, and making sure that this gap between academia and industry is mitigated to an extent as fast as possible for us to be able to produce hundreds and thousands of graduates who are employable. Right now in Pakistan, 25,000 graduates come out of universities every year. Only 10% of that graduate is actually employable in the industry. How many graduates does the industry need this year? 100,000. Where are we? 2,500. So what's happening? Everyone's poaching, everyone's using unethical methods to get the best employees. So that's so in the short run, that's good for those employees who are already employed, because they get better salaries, they get poached, and they get raises very quickly. But on the long run, as an industry, as a nascent industry that's just popped up on the surface for the government to take a look at, this is horrible. This is a horrible situation to be in. So that's the industry academia gap is one thing. I think one of the other reasons that we are not able to produce the right kind of graduates that can be absorbed by the industry is our onboarding criteria as well. I think if when onboarding undergrads for for pre-medicine or pre-engineering, if the vetting process is proper, then if you take on board the right kind of candidates who are actually interested to study this specific discipline, then you graduate the right kind of engineers out of it. But if you are just taking candidates because they can pay, not because they're interested, then you're not going to be able to get graduates at the end of it. At least not employable graduates at the end of it. So yeah, that's the other thing. I think the third and most important thing that I also feel missing during university life is there is very, very little career counseling. So a lot of the students who are actually very, very good have no idea what to hunt for or what they're good at actually. So, sometimes when you attend these career counseling sessions, and in your head, you think I'm a good doctor, but somebody will tell you, no, you're better in R&D. And that one session would change everything for you. I mean, I've seen that happen with me. So I think career counseling is a huge missing element. If that is added, academia industry gap is mitigated by introducing industry into the whole equation, and we can talk about that more later during this conversation. And also the onboarding process is improved. I'm pretty sure that we can mitigate this gap. Just today I was reading before this call, because I was coming here, so I was reading this article in Dawn where it said that the unemployment rate of graduates, now this is for Pakistan, okay? The unemployment rate of graduates is 3 times higher than others in the unemployed labor force. Would you believe that? You know, you've studied, you've spent those 14, 16 years, and you're still, you know, there's a higher rate of unemployability for graduates than it is for the unemployed. So that is a very, you know, that is not where we should be, right? So yeah, with that, back to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. You have given some very alarming figures to us today. Thank you for that, though. Now I would like to move towards Ms. Aruba Gilani once again. All right. So as I mentioned that she is working at the placement office at a very prestigious university in Pakistan, NUST University. And we have received a few questions where students ask, and this is one thing when we are taking admissions at a particular university, the one thing that comes to our mind is that if we go for this particular university, after graduating from this universities, we would be able to land on some good jobs out in the market. So, Ma'am Aruba, what do you think? How important it is that a particular university is to be chosen to be employable out in the market? Or do you think that the education system is almost more or less the same? So it doesn't quite matter that which university you are graduating from, and maybe the skill set that you have matters the most. Over to you.
Thank you so very much for inviting me on this summit today. And yeah, so the question is very, very important because, you know, when the student is passing out from the FSC or the A levels, the prime, you know, objective is to, you know, go for a university which is going to get them a good degree as well as make them more employable in the market. But, you know, okay, so there are two schools of thoughts. One is that institution is really, really important. In terms of what is the education level, what is going to be the faculty, what are going to be the kind of grooming the institution is going to be, you know, inculcating in that, or the skill set that is going to be given to that student, right? While the student is enrolled in a university. However, then there are students who already have, you know, those skill sets, who already have that kind of, you know, element in them, which really makes them stand out, even if they pass out from a you know, mediocre university or not a very, very well reputed university. However, when we talk about institutions and when we choose the institutions, we choose them on the basis of the credibility that they have, you know, in terms of acceptance of their degree in the job market. Now, when I say this, it covers the kind of alumni that we already have working in the industry, what kind of reputation that they have in the industry. This really, really affects. For example, for us, it's sometimes it gets really easy for some of our, you know, batches to get them employed in the market. Why? Because already our alumni are doing really well in the market. So that is the kind of credibility that has been developed over the number of years. And then, for example, the kind of skill set, for example, we have so many workshops and kind of programs or the kind of, you know, curriculum that we follow, or the kind of grooming aspect that we have, you know, that we follow in our university while the students enroll here. That also really matters. And that's also that has contributed a lot to the credibility or the ranking of the university, or what reputation a university actually has in the market. But that also, you know, alumni and the product that we've already produced and which is available in the market already plays a very major role in this.
Thank you so much, Aruba. Now I would like to move towards Ms. Tracy. She's a business advisor at and currently working at the university, Texas Women University. Ma'am, I would like to ask you a question that, according to you, what do you think are some basic or major skills that a university student should possess when graduating, which would distinguish them from the students who are employable and the students who are unemployable?
Oh, great question. Thank you so much for having me. Glad to be here. So it really is important to have great skills when you're getting out in the marketplace. And I think some of them aren't taught as well today when students get out of school. I even know my own daughter, when she graduated, needed more money management skills, dealing with other things in a day-to-day basis, I think many are graduating and don't know how to do some of the very common things and some of the soft skills that they have that are needed today. And many, it's important for them to know how to interview and how to talk to people and communicate with them and let them know about their background. I think it's so important that there's critical thinking and problem solving skills. And many times you will see that in interviews today, which is really helpful for students when they can be answering these questions right away. And I think all of those are great skills to have. Creativity and innovation, and especially think of those, obviously, those who are interested in entrepreneurship, those are great skills, but those are really important too when they're starting a job and they can really develop a position into one that's for themselves. So I think it's important, the critical skills that they have, the soft skills, and being able to work with people and communicate, help many of them stand above those that are applying for the same jobs that they're doing.
Mostly the speakers here today were from Bangladesh and from Pakistan. I would like you to tell about the job market and the scenario over there in the US. That would really help us know what's going on in there, because for countries like ours, we really look forward, and we really basically appreciate, and you can say that we desire that one day students can go to the US, and because living that American dream and all that. So I would like you to let us know about that as well.
Well, I mean, obviously right now it's crazy because of COVID and how many things have changed over the last couple of years. We do find that our students as well are having difficulty finding that very first job that is here. Some of it could be because of lack of experience, but I think some too, many times our young minds are very optimistic, and maybe they some of them expect to be CEO or very high ranking or making that very high salary on their very first job out of school. So again, I think our job force should be getting better than it is, but there are some now that just really don't want to put the effort as much to get that first job that may not be the greatest job, but is the stepping stone to the rest of their career.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Now I would like to come back towards Mr. Rizwan. Sir, I would like you to comment on the fact that as you are currently working at the Business Incubation Center, the students who come there and have their startups over there, they come there as entrepreneurs. Can you give us some facts and figures that how many startups or entrepreneurs are actually able to get their business in the market, and how many are there who just fail right away?
Okay, thank you very much. In the Pakistani context, it's quite a different thing because every student want to be an entrepreneur. Why? Because they want to be a boss. Like if they want to come late, okay, their fairness. Nobody's going to ask them why you come late. Have you done your task? It's not like that. They wanted to be a bossy. But in real ways, if they wanted to be an entrepreneur, it's a journey. It doesn't mean that 1 year, maybe 6 months, you will be. I know that everybody is following the Y Combinator 6 months incubation period, but it's not like for the starter, like especially for the students in the Pakistan, as we are working on the mindset that we are trying to change it, the entrepreneurial mindset. So the most important thing is in the students, especially in the Pakistani context, they think that we come into the incubation centers, we go for the startup competitions, we will raise money and they go to another, because I have been to the many, competition as a judge. So I've seen that the multiple, the startups, they are coming here and there because the motive is to just get the grants and that's it. But actually being a real entrepreneur, that you have to focus on your vision. If I give you the example for Kareem, because they had a vision and they are expanding more and more. If I wanted to give the example that airlift, like Ahmed Ayubai, means that you have to have a vision. It doesn't mean that I can understand. If I give you an example like a Google, what was a Google? It was just a PhD thesis from the Stanford University. As you can see now, they have captured all over the world. But things, Rome wasn't built in a day. It takes time, and you need to have patience. And there's a study that all the big giants like Microsoft, uh, Amazon, they just get together, and there was a graph. They just say, okay, if you are successful, what was the reason behind on that? So there were the 4 5 graphs. Say, okay, if you are good enough in your studies, so somebody's write it down. Okay, this is some percentage, and a percentage. If you are good at your communication skills, how much you have captured the business. Okay, somebody has write it down the percentage, and so many things. Like your institutions where you studied, isn't that? So what happened in the end? They say whatever you have done is just 2%. 98% is your attitude. Means the way that you are willing to learn, because an entrepreneur mindset is that, are you ready to learn? Are you going to rectify yourself? Because in our society, I'm not talking about the abroad, that we are not learn to fail. This is a very important thing, because in from our kindergarten, if you got the first grade, your parents say, wow, this is my kid. First grade to 8th grade, first, second, third position means no position. I'm not saying that, I'm not discouraging it, that if you have a low grade, but you know what I'm trying to say. And then your intermediate to your university level, A1 grade, A grade, B grade is okay, and the C grade is down. So what we have done, we didn't understand that you can be a fail. And you know what we are trying to do in our incubation center, and this message is all over the world, that what we are doing here, we are saying, okay, there's a 2 rule of the term. The first one, that you will be a successful like this, okay, or you can say you are fail like this. So it doesn't mean that you need to replace this failure to your learning. Either you will be successful, and either you're on the learning stage. Whenever you're on that stage, you keep learning, and you will never that fail that I'm failed. So as you have asked me the durations, that why the startup got failed, this is the biggest reason, because 1 year, 2 years, they just put the effort, and afterward they say, oh, it didn't work it out. We didn't get the so much funds. So these are the things that startups need to work out on, that you need to first thing, be patient, number one. Number two, you need to understand if you have done some mistakes, fair enough. And there's a 2 school of thought. The first one is that the more risk in the Pakistani way means that you will have more money. But I have always said that the second school of thought, maybe someone of you is not agree, that the risk has to be calculated. If you have 100 rupees, or you can say $100, you need to start with a 30, a very limited amount. This is all about the entrepreneurship is. It's about the limited resources, limited things. So you need to start on that. So that's why the failure. I have been to the USA, like Tracy. We met 3 years before. I was her in center. Tracy, remember it? So we went to the like more than 30 university in the USA in 5 states. So there is a rate of failure over there as well, because it's a human psyche. Human is same. Everybody wants to get the things at the first instance. That's true, because it's human nature. But you have to be patient. The second thing, you need to on the learning model means successful, failure, and the risk has to be calculated. And the third and most important thing, especially for the Pakistani context, if a startup is to start working on something which you have heard, seen on the news, they might think that we are the first one we have done. They haven't searched it at all. That's so many people, but they claim. And if most of the Pakistani person understand, wherever they go say, this is the first time in the Pakistan we are going to present this thing. There's nothing happening like that. So these are the reasons we need to rectify. The first thing, the mindset. Again and again, work on the mindset that you need to replace your model successful or on the learning stick. The first thing, if you understand, then you need to work on your career path or vision. That you think that after the 10 years, where you're going to be, Again, I give you the example to Google, what it was. Again, the PhD thesis right now, and what they have done at that time. They just made an algorithm. If your name have been searched so many times, you are on the top. What does it mean? It means now we call this SEO, means search engine optimization. So, they have worked on a little thing, and afterward they have broadened vision that we have to do work, this. Now they have become a giant. So for the entrepreneurs, this is the message for me in the Pakistan or outside. You need to work on it, but you must have 5-10 year plans, and you have a little goals.